Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Tess, and to be honest, I wasn't planning on filming today. I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of like a greasy hair, stay home, very weird weather outside, very cloudy. There's like a weird ringing in the air. I hope you guys can't hear. I have only eaten banana bread today. It's almost 4 o'clock and I've just had banana bread for breakfast and lunch, and I'm wearing this outfit that matches my decor. So I don't know, do with that what you will, but I did want to talk to you guys. I just miss you and I felt like filming, so here we go. I feel like when I don't have a video in mind, I will do a Q&A type of video. To be honest, it is easy content to film because I know it's questions you guys have on your mind that you will want answered, but at the same time, it's you guys giving me the content. So I feel like it's kind of cheating, but if it's helpful and easy, happy to do it. As always, please let me know any suggestions for future videos in the comments below. I would love to know what you guys want to see, but today I'm going to be answering some of your guys' questions, and I posted on Instagram stories just asking me to literally ask me anything about skincare or beauty, and I got so many questions that I figured I would do half of the questions on a podcast, half on YouTube, and sort of split them up because there's so many. I would be sitting here for an hour if I was answering all of them as in-depth as I would like to. So we will go ahead and get into the Q&A. I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, it would mean so much if you gave me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to follow my other socials, Instagram, my podcast. I think that's it, TikTok. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, before I get into the video, sorry I got distracted. I just got a text. So much is going on in life right now. It's almost a little bit overwhelming, but I am looking to buy a car. I think you guys know I got in a car accident and my car was totaled. I'm okay now, but my car is not. Thankfully, they gave me money for a new car. So I'm in the process of looking, but it's a lot of effort, at least the way I do it. I go test out the cars. I go to a lot of dealerships. I do a lot of back and forth negotiations. So it's a process. Sorry if I'm seem a little off or high strung. I'm honestly a bit stressed, but it's all gonna be good. I feel like filming is such a good outlet, and I don't know what I would have done during this pandemic if I didn't have YouTube or the podcast or other creative social media outlets. It's just something that feels, I don't know, just fun and natural to do, and I think it's connecting with the like-minded people like you guys and feeling like it's a little family. Like I feel like I truly know you guys, and being able to talk to like an outside little group of friends is just reassuring and comforting. So I love you guys so much. Okay guys, let's get into the questions. The first one was from an esthetician student, and she asked, what are some ingredients that you come across the most, good or bad? Love you and thank you so much for all the good info. Also loved your video reviewing Hyram skincare. Thank you so much. That video is up if you guys want to check it out. I reviewed skincare by Hyram's routine. But as far as ingredients that are important, I would say clients really are most interested in the active ingredients in a product. They want to know what is in the product that is going to produce the most change. So you don't have to be at the point where you feel you can decipher every ingredient on a product label. I'm certainly not at that point, and I still do a lot of Googling and a lot of Paula's Choice and looking up things. So know that that's something you can always do. However, if you are in the treatment room, that's a little tricky, and you don't want to be caught off guard necessarily if your client asks, what are you putting on my skin? Or why would I want to buy the product you are recommending, for example? What is in it that is going to produce a change? Why does it work for my skin? And how does it work? So I think active ingredients are a really important place to start. So I would say there's a list of the names of ingredients you will hear the most. So I took some little notes, but I said hyaluronic acid is a big one, vitamin C, which can be L-ascorbic acid, or it could be magnesium ascorbyl phosphate is another derivative of vitamin C. It could be retinol, could be glycolic, salicylic acid, lactic acid, niacinamide is a big one, squalane, which is derived from olives, it's an oil, jojoba oil is another one, glycerin. There's so many. I would say those were like the first ones that came to mind, but definitely make sure you are versed in what is in your treatment room. What are the active ingredients in the treatment products you will be putting on your client? Also always good to know, just for safety purposes, if somebody has an allergy to aspirin, you wouldn't want to use a salicylic acid peel or product on them, as it could make them have an adverse reaction. My advice there is to definitely be confident in the treatment products you offer, and hopefully the spa you work at is comfortable training and explaining what is in the products you are using. I know at Derma+ we were given a product list with all of the ingredients and a little explanation about each, which really helped develop my ingredient knowledge, I would say, and get really comfortable with those products and understand why they can produce a change with their skin. So I hope that helps. Last thing I'll say on that note, I've mentioned it before, but Michelle Phelan's class on ingredients is fantastic, and it is an online course. She changes the availability of when she offers it, so I don't know if it's available when you're watching this video. You might want to check out her website. I'll put the link below, and I have no affiliation with any type of commission from the class. I just love Michelle. She's been such a great mentor and friend and teacher to me, and I have nothing but amazing things to say about her. That was the first outside course I took, and I really enjoyed it. It was a little easy online course, so I would recommend that if you want to further your ingredient knowledge. A question that came from YouTube came from my brother, and he asked, he's like getting into skincare now. I don't know if it's because of me or because I've given him products and he sees how they're so different, right? I give him professional products and he, I think, compares them to what he's used his whole life, which is just drugstore or maybe things from a department store. So I think he's getting into skincare, but he's still not at the point where he's ready to spend money on a whole professional routine. So he asked, how many facial skincare products does one truly need? Good question. And second part is, if you had $50 total to spend on a small group of products, what? Okay, this is good. I really like the question, how many products are like truly necessary in one's routine? Because I think people can get excited by the idea of being a skincare junkie or trying every new product that comes out. And I feel like when you're first immersed in the esthetician world, you have so much new access to amazing product, and it can be really easy to want to get everything, to want to try everything, to want to get familiarity with every line. And you don't have to. I don't think a good skincare routine has to be 12 steps or 8 steps. I think the most important thing is developing a strong core foundation of products that you are going to use every day, as those will have the biggest effect on the skin. So if I had to narrow it down to a small group of products, this is just the bare minimum, and I'm not saying this will get you the same results as a routine with more products, but for the person who's a minimalist and wants to do the least, right? I would say cleanser, of course. I'd love to have a toner. That's really one of my favorite products, but if it had to be a super small group, I'd say cleanser, moisturizer, SPF. If I could go a step further, I would say cleanser, toner, which is even hard because my two favorite products in my routine are a little bit of an exfoliating toner for congestion, and then my hydrating toner, which I use on a daily basis. So I feel one really helps to control my acne and keep it managed. And the second really just increases the efficacy of my other products and binds moisture to the skin. So for me, that's essential, but maybe for somebody else, they wouldn't consider it absolutely essential. But I have a different perspective. I feel pH is so underrated. So gosh, I really love a toner. But I would say those three: cleanser, moisturizer, SPF. If I had to pick three and I was on a $50 budget, which is tough because even at the drugstore, products are, you know, skincare products these days are at least $10 to $15. So $50 is tough. Toner, that would be the next thing I would add in. And then I would add in some sort of serum or more active products. So depending on the skin type, if you wanted more brightening, I would say go for a vitamin C serum. Just make sure it's one that suits your skin type. It's not too strong for you. Or if you're starting to be concerned with anti-aging and you want to increase that cell turnover, have skin that looks really smooth and healthy for a long time into your later years, I would say a retinol is super key. And retinol, I believe you can get away with buying on a budget. Adapalene you can get at the drugstore, which is different. That's affordable, and it used to be a prescription strength retinol. Now it's available over the counter, very affordable, and a great starter retinol. My preference is tretinoin. It's sort of the next step up, and I do get that from my doctor and pick it up at the drugstore. Tends to be about $10 with my insurance, so that's a really affordable add-in to a routine that's gonna make a big game-changing difference in your skin. So I told my brother, we gotta get you a retinol. It really isn't that expensive, and it will really strengthen the skin and improve the look of it. So gotta get him a retinol. And gosh, my next, I already said SPF. I'm all over the place with this, but SPF is non-negotiable, and find one that works for you. I could be a little bit more lenient with an SPF as long as you enjoy it. The best SPF is the one you will wear. So if you find a formula at the drugstore that doesn't feel too heavy or too greasy or leave too much of a white cast, I'm happy. Just wear the SPF, make sure it is at least SPF 30, and I do prefer a mineral SPF as opposed to a chemical. My favorite SPF is the Elta MD sunscreen, which is a ride or die. So I hope that answered the question. Baseline, cleanser, moisturizer, SPF. If I were to go the next extra mile, I would add in a toner and some sort of active serum or retinol. And then, you know, when it comes to masks, and oh, I do love an eye cream, but I have to make some sacrifices here. When it comes to things like, if you're really on a budget and you want a strong skincare routine, a mask is probably like the last thing I would say you should invest in. Not that I don't think they're lovely and they can't be a great treatment product. They are part of my essential routine. But again, what you put on your skin on a day-to-day basis, the quality of the cleanser shouldn't be too stripping, whether the moisturizer is delivering enough hydration for you and it's the right one for you, I would say those are going to outweigh something a mask can do, which I know sometimes if somebody is struggling with a skin concern like irritation or acne, they want to reach for a mask at the store because it kind of seems like a quick fix, and I think people really enjoy using a mask, but I wouldn't say it's going to make the most difference in your skin. So thank you, brother, for that question. Hope that helped. Okay, the next question, which I love, is what is the main difference between a retinol and a retinoid? I can see how it's a little bit confusing because of the names are so close. So a retinol is a type of retinoid, but it tends to refer to over-the-counter retinol, or something you would see at Sephora is likely a retinol. A retinoid tends to be the stronger strength prescription form of retinol, but it's a retinoid, if that makes sense. I probably just confuse you guys more. But something like tretinoin is a retinoid, something that would be prescription strength from your doctor or derm. So you would need a prescription for a retinoid, whereas a retinol you can purchase over the counter. One way I was sort of taught the differences is you can think of retinol versus retinoid sort of like a little factory line. So first in line is retinol. It gets converted into a retinoid and then it gets converted into retinoic acid. Retinoids just go from being converted from a retinoid to retinoic acid. So there's much less of a conversion process. So the active ingredient, vitamin A, is more readily absorbed by the skin. One way I was sort of taught the difference between retinol versus retinoid is you can think of a little factory line, and retinol would be converted into a retinoid, and then it would be converted into something called retinoic acid that truly produces the change within the skin. A retinoid just goes from retinoid to retinoic acid, so there's much less of a conversion process there. So a retinoid tends to be more intense. The last difference I'll say is that retinoids have to be FDA cleared. So there tends to be really rigorous testing around retinoids, and they have to be proven to work and produce the desired change within the skin. Those changes tend to be increased cell turnover, so it could potentially soften the appearance of fine lines. It can decrease pigment. It can really decrease the pore size. It can sort of balance out oil levels, so a lot of potential. And not to say retinols can't be effective. A lot of brands have a retinol. You can find retinols anywhere from CVS to Target to Sephora. I would say it's just more of a gamble as far as which one will work, since they haven't gone through as much testing as a retinoid. Not to say you can't find a good one and that there aren't good ones out there. A good option would be to still get a professional retinol from an esthetician that is clinically trialed and has a lot of testing behind it, rather than just sort of picking a random one. That is a little bit more of a gamble. Next question I have is Dermarol or nah, with a question mark. And I love that. So I am team yes with the derma rollers, but I'm very picky. I really only recommend people purchase an FDA cleared derma rolling device. This is an area where it gets really tricky, and I think it's an amazing tool that has gotten a bad reputation because every skincare beauty company out there has made their own version of this, and it can definitely produce some consequences if it's not made correctly or it gets in the wrong person's hands and they're using it improperly. You can get infections, you can really damage the skin if you are not using the correct type of derma roller. The FDA approval really affects the quality of the needle and the needle depth. So very important. This is one of those things you're better off just not getting at all if you're going to just pick it up at random from Amazon, my worst nightmare, or Sephora, or just any random site. This is something I would get from a licensed professional. So a licensed esthetician, dermatologist, medical esthetician, a nurse, some sort of medical aesthetics facility. We do offer them at Derma Plus, but you have to do an email consult to get one, which I think is key. Like, it's so important that somebody is prepared to use a derma roller. If your skin is not in the place to handle it, meaning your barrier is weak, your skin is weak, it's reacting to every little thing, it's breakout prone, or if you have active acne, as in whiteheads, derma rolling is not a good idea. You don't want to roll over those whiteheads. It could spread the infection. It could really damage the skin and cause trauma. So you want to be careful there. that's tricky. Just make sure you get it from a licensed professional. And I think there should be some sort of protocol, some sort of vetting the client, some sort of instruction with how to use it before the person buys it. Skincare really should be customized to you, and it's just as important to pick things at the right stage of your skin journey as it is to pick the product. So I don't want to tell you Derma rollers. Now I'm sort of regretting it. I don't want to tell you Derma rollers are amazing if you're not the right candidate for it. So let me rephrase. Derma rollers are amazing if you are a fit for them. And as far as what the microneedler addresses, what it really targets is tone, texture, and elasticity in the skin. It can also increase product penetration, but I would say it's ideal for those who want to address signs of aging, have PIH or scarring, like true texture in the skin from acne trauma, or any form of hyperpigmentation. Those would be the best candidates. So yeah, most important thing would be getting a medical grade needle. I know the one at Derma Plus is 0.3 millimeters. So always do a consultation, make sure it would be appropriate for you, and select one that is good quality. Another important part of owning a derma roller is the care and how you use it. So I would always recommend disinfecting the derma roller. So I use rubbing alcohol, and I will throw a boiling pot of water over it to ensure it is free of bacteria. I do that before and after I use it, which might be a little bit of overkill, but I appreciate knowing that it's clean. You also want to be careful in how you store it. Hopefully it comes in a little case so the needles don't get bent, and you should be able to use it 2 to 3 times a week for about a year, at least with our derma rollers. Maybe it varies, but you want to make sure the needle isn't bent or deformed in any way. If it is, at that point it is time to replace it. And then lastly, in case people want to know what is the right way to use them, because I've seen a lot of people on social media using them in different ways, and the way I would recommend is on completely clean skin. Maybe you should cleanse your face and applied some sort of toner. After that, you want to do the derma rolling again on clean skin, no product on the skin. And there's different ways to roll. I think Derma Plus has a little guide on their Instagram if you guys want to check out like how to do it, but you want to make sure you use it on clean skin. And then afterwards, I would keep the routine very hydrating, very minimal, not a lot of acids, like exfoliating things. I know it does improve the product penetration, but you don't want to overdo it if your skin can't tolerate it. So probably, especially in the beginning, best to keep it simple and not a lot of oils, things like that could penetrate too deeply and possibly lead to congestion. If you're very dry, it might be okay. But in general, keep it basic, hydrating, and look for water binding or water-based ingredients. Another good one, these are all so good. You guys, please just like send me your questions whenever. The way I prefer to receive them is on YouTube, because then I can either reply then and there and everyone can see it and learn from it, or I'll just take a little screenshot and save it for a video down the line. But leave your questions on YouTube if you can. So the question is, how did you stay motivated in school? Help, I'm in an apprenticeship. Good question. This is something I've learned recently, which is I think that motivation is very overrated. And by that, I mean motivation really can come and go. And it's just not realistic to say you're going to feel motivated every day. What I think is more important is sort of developing that discipline and sort of anticipating that things are going to get hard. They're going to get unmotivating. You're going to have days you're tired and you don't feel like pushing through. I feel like sort of identifying your why. So why you're doing this. Why are you in esthetician school? Do you want to help people with their skin conditions? Do you want to learn about skin so you can improve your own and then help other people? Do you want to work with a certain type of patient? Maybe you want to work with acneic clients. Do you have a dream for yourself of working at a certain job? Do you want to work for a dermatologist? I think really get clear on what you want to do and why you want to do it. I think if you can keep others, like helping others, at the forefront of your why, I think that will help you push through when things get hard. So I hope that makes sense, because there's going to be days you're motivated, and it's sort of like fitness. I hear this saying in fitness a lot, that motivation is overrated. I think it's so true, and I'm sort of on a new fitness journey where I'm starting to incorporate weights in my workout routine, like heavier weights. And anytime you're doing something new, you're going to have challenges. It's difficult to move heavy weights. So sort of, it's like an analogy to life. There's going to be times you have to push heavy weight and you don't feel like it. Some days I wake up and I do not have the energy, the motivation. I don't want to do it. And some days I'll listen to my body and take a beat, but there's days you got to kind of step up to the challenge and push through, and just think of how good it's going to feel when you can reach the light at the end of the tunnel. When you clock out for the last time, that's an amazing feeling. When you have your license in your hand, when you've passed your test and you're standing with some of your classmates and you're like, oh my gosh, we finally did this thing. We got to the finish line. When you are putting on your scrubs for the first time, going to your first job, that's an amazing feeling. When you have your first client that you really connect with, that they're so grateful and appreciative that you've helped them with their skin, those are great feelings. And you got to take the good with the bad. There's going to be days that flat out suck. And, you know, the hours are long in school. Sometimes it feels like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. You feel like you're going to be in it forever. Maybe there's things going on at school that make it not so enjoyable to be there. But try to know that it will end. Like everything in life, this is just a phase. So it's just a little phase of your life. So when I was in school, it felt like the longest thing ever. Looking back now, I'm like, that was just a piece of my life. I don't remember going to school every day. I remember the broad experience, but you just have to think of the light at the end of the tunnel, but try to enjoy the process if you can. So I'll give you guys some like actual practical tips, because that was just sort of a rant. But I found two things that helped me with motivation in school were, okay, three things. First was packing meals that I thoroughly enjoyed and was excited to have. I noticed when I was in school, most people didn't bring meals or snacks. They would either not eat or go to the cafeteria and just, you know, sort of settle for whatever they had at the cafeteria. Now, I'm not perfect, and there were days when I had to eat at the cafeteria, and that was fine, but I did notice those types of foods, and when I don't have control of cooking it, I don't feel as good. I don't have as much energy. It's not like exactly what I would want. So I think packing meals that are going to fuel you and give you energy and make you feel good instead of lethargic and just yucky, I think that is a good tip. The second thing that helped me was honestly YouTube. So documenting the journey. I think you could do this in any way that makes sense to you. You could keep a diary. You could keep a photo journal. You could start a YouTube channel. You could do little TikToks. You could really do whatever you want. So find, I think, something that sort of helps you. It's fun to look back on. It's fun to document the journey. I felt like, even though it was such a small audience at the time watching, those people who were watching felt like my friends. They felt like they were really engaged in my content, and it was providing value for them. It was showing them the experience that they were anticipating or wondering about. So giving others value and showing my day-to-day was really meaningful. The third thing I did that helped me keep motivation, we'll just say for the purposes of this video, like keep me going, was surrounding myself with positive influences at school. I know that sounds cheesy, but I think it's really true, because there's people, no matter what school you go to, there's going to be people who are a little bit negative and they get caught up in the long hours and they don't want to be there necessarily all of the time. That is contagious. That can be toxic. Don't surround yourself with that. I really gravitated naturally toward the people who had an idea for their business they were already working on, or they were at school to get the education so they could leave and do their dream job. Surrounding myself with those type of people like Jackie, who I love. She has her beauty business now. Follow her on Instagram. I'll put it below. Being around her and like hearing how excited she was for her brand and her vision was contagious for me. I was somebody, I knew I loved skincare, but I didn't really know like what my path would be after school. So I was really attracted to people who were sure of themselves and had a really intentional purpose for being at school. So I hope that helped, those 3 things. Please try and let me know what your experience is. If you're still struggling, reach out to me and I will do my best to help. I think I might make this my last question just so the video doesn't get too long, but they asked, do you recommend double cleansing both morning and night or just at night? Great question. I feel like there's a lot of confusion sometimes around what a good cleansing routine is. So overwashing is a no. We don't want to get in that territory where we're really stripping the skin by washing too frequently, though I will say if you have a super gentle cleanser that's right for your skin type, you should have no problem cleansing 2-3 times a day. So I think what you use is very important. I know there's a lot of people who advocate for no cleanse in the morning and they say it's too stripping. I have a strong opinion that that's not the case. I think if you have a gentle cleanser, you absolutely should cleanse in the morning. When we sleep, we excrete a lot of oils and sweat, and our product is coming off on our pillow. So I think it's best to start fresh in the morning, remove that product, and definitely remove those active ingredients. If you're using retinol at night, for example, you don't want to take that into your daytime routine and then put your other products on top of it. It's going to make things like a vitamin C be less effective and could be potentially damaging to your skin. So my ideal thing is cleansing once in the morning, double cleanse at night. If I am working out, this is a question I get often. If you're working out midday, around 12, like a lot of us are doing in quarantine, skip the wash in the morning, do your workout, and then wash everything off, and then get into your skincare routine. That way you don't waste product by putting it on your skin before the workout, and you can still cleanse your face after the workout, and you don't have active products like vitamin C on your face while you are sweating, which not always a problem, but could be a consideration. The double cleanse at night is fantastic. I prefer sort of like a milky type of cleanser. I prefer that to an oil balm or an oil cleanser, and then a normal foaming cleanser that is still gentle for the skin. Doing the double cleanse allows you to remove SPF, makeup, any sort of surface layer congestion, right, from going about your day. And then your second cleanse, you can really get a little bit deeper and ensure the skin is clean before you put on your product and go to bed. Last thing I'll say is I would skip the sort of just splashing with water thing in the morning. Skip that entirely. It can be more dehydrating than using a gentle cleanser that is pH balanced. So again, skip the little splash of water and just go into like your workout or go into your full on cleansing and then putting on your hydrating products and the rest of your routine. That is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, please know you can leave any questions in the comments below, and that really helps me to understand what is on your mind and create content that educates and interests you. So thank you guys so much as always, but especially in quarantine, for watching and being the best and for being so supportive. I'm so happy I have this community, and it's honestly the first thing I think about in the morning. Like, it has been for a year, and it's just always, it's stayed like that. I'm so excited and happy to do what I do and to be able to talk to you guys. So thank you so much. I love you, and I will see you in the next video.